Welcome to the I Know Nothing podcast, where you will learn nothing. No guest today. We're going to have a couple next week. So I decided to attempt kind of going through some weekly updates that we saw here at the gym from high school and college athletes. My workout regimen, and I'm going to explain why that's important to you, maybe. And then just some people that I've been following for a while, but some podcasts, some people in the field that I just think are just outstanding right now. And I've been utilizing a lot of their stuff. So as everyone should know, obviously I'm a strength coach. I'm here at Suarez Physical Therapy and Performance. And this summer, we have been messing around with a couple different things. One of the big ones was keeping it simple and effective. And I listen to podcasts all day long. I hear this all the time, but nobody's keeping things simple and effective. And I am the biggest culprit of not keeping things simple and effective, both for my own training and for others, because I want to give them so much that sometimes I overprogram. And, without going off on a tangent, that's what we did. We kept things really simple and effective. How do we do it? Anytime someone new came in, I wanted the exact days, how many days were coming in, what their goals were, and I didn't even give them the choice to tell me anything. I said, what are your goals within these parameters? Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to get faster? Do you want to get more powerful? And what are you trying to get to transfer to the field? The answer is all. And even though in here we give individualized programs, the way that we individualize programs is I get to work alongside the best PTs. They're teaching me on sport-specific injuries that I need to also add in those specific exercises for those type of athletes. But for the majority, most of these athletes in here, no matter the sport, need all of the general same things. They still need to be faster. They still need to be able to change direction. They still need to be powerful. They definitely all need to be strong. We did get a lot of pitchers this year, so we spent some more time on our arm care. We got a bunch of basketball players, so we had to focus a ton on lower leg, on knee. The way it gets individualized is it's on you. I give the exercises that need to be done either before the workout, after the workout, but in the middle of the workout, if it's a sprint day, everybody sprinted. If it's a squat day, you're squatting or you're reverse lunging, but you're doing something heavy on that day. Same thing with the deadlift. It might be a hex bar, it might be an RDL, whatever. I don't care. We kept our rep schemes almost the same for everybody. And really, and for me personally, rarely has this happened because I try to take either all of the data or no data. And this year, we had the ability to use TrueCoach. Everybody logged their weights, and we actually saw, what you can get for, most of them started consistently in May to August now, where we have kids PRing still, and we've just been running not necessarily a linear progression, but almost linear and modifying as necessary. And the way I'm keeping it simple is we started with 20 rep maxes. The 1x20 method is way different than what we were doing. I just kind of took that philosophy, and I know for myself that as an athlete, when I was hitting 20 rep maxes, I was just feeling strong. I was feeling good with the movement. My technique was dialed in. And for a lot of these college and high school kids, it worked so well because they were either doing way too little or they were just getting berated in their college weight room or their high school weight room with heavy ones and threes with horrible technique, incorrect, just weekly and daily modifications. So they weren't really ever getting stronger. We went 20-20, 14-14, 8-8, and we just been watching that number go. And obviously we undulate when necessary. I kind of switched exercises. But we've been keeping it really the 20 reps, the 14 reps, and the 8 reps. And we're watching massive changes. We're watching speed changes. We're watching power changes. And we're watching strength changes. All because I just kept it simple and didn't really deviate from that rep scheme. But the whole point is we were doing 1 or 2 sets of absolute max effort. I don't mean absolute strength max effort. I'm just talking about watching athletes hit a 20 rep max who didn't think they could do that weight for 10. That's inspiring because now when that college athlete comes back for the winter, now we can dive into heavier loads for shorter reps or whatever it might be. But that's just what we did this year, and it's been working really well. We've had almost no issues, like no soft tissue things. And the athletes have been pretty good about being honest about what they do outside of the gym. Some things from the week. We had the first ever female freshman that I've ever coached, freshman in high school, who just hit 17.19 miles per hour. A number that I have been taught, and I heard this with Tony Holler and Feed the Cats, and I've heard it a couple different places, is that we want like high school varsity female athletes to be at 17 miles an hour. Well, she's a freshman, and she at 17.19, and that's only with about maybe a 20-yard building. That's just the extent of our turf. That's flying. And she had followed that same method that we've been doing, and she hit this within a month of really sticking to it. Again, is it just the programming? No, this is a really good athlete, but first freshman female for me that ever hit 17, over 17. We had a college athlete who's a phenomenal athlete who just hit a 1:45, which is our gym record for a 10-yard sprint. You're probably saying, oh, no way, that's too fast. The way that I've always run my 10s with the system that we have, which is Dasher, they're awesome. I'm so used to, as a college and a high school strength coach, I was so used to having big groups. The way that the Dasher works is the lasers, you have to be in the middle of the laser. All it takes is one kid has to do, his leg goes, it starts too soon. His leg does this, it starts too soon. And we've tried putting it on the chest. I've just found, for me, I put it 2 exact feet from the line. So, because I have a lot of baseball guys, we can start from a steal, or we can start straight up. You can start on a 3-point, 4-point. I don't care what it is, but it gives you that little bit of difference. So the times are faster, but the times are relative to me. And 1:45 was the fastest that we've got in this gym. A very close second is a 1:46 by a couple of our athletes. And then we also saw another step in 42-inch on the jump mat, which is super impressive. That's a one step in. It is a step in, but 42 inches is very impressive. Why do I want to talk about my workouts as well? So we're going to drop, we're all dropping this together where we're going to give out, I'm giving out my programming for what I'm doing. And it's specific to athletes. It's specific to adult athletes. Obviously, I have kids. I have a weird work schedule. I'm not actually training for any real sport, but I am training to be athletic. So when I get to play pickup again, or I get to get back into softball, maybe some flag, I'm still there. I like to compete with my kids too. I think it's important. Some coaches disagree with me, but I think it's important that your coach can do the workouts, at least most of the stuff that they're providing or prescribing you. But I want to be fast while I can for my kids, like for my actual kids, my daughter and my son, but also for my athletes. It's pretty cool, in my opinion, that I can just step in and hit 40 yards and hit 10s and hit flying 10s with my kids, and I'm right in the same realm of their speed. And so I have some really, really good athletes in here. It's not about me. It's not. It's just like I would trust my coach if he can do the same thing that I can do, and he's either just as fast or faster than me. If he's just as strong or stronger than me, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now. But the workouts, I've been writing my own workouts for, obviously since I've been 9 years old. I said it in the first podcast, but I've been really dialing in programming probably since COVID, since like 2020, and I just have notes of all of the stuff, and I've basically tried to figure out what works best, and I'm going to be giving out my program with the addition of help from the PTs, from like mobility stuff that we give to our athletes. I'm putting it all in, and it's something that you can purchase, and it's just monthly. I give feedback, what I felt during the workout, what you might feel, and I try to stay about, obviously I'm a couple months ahead, but all of my notes are in there from the notes I have been taking while doing this stuff. And what does it consist of, if you're asking? Well, pretty standard weightlifting. I snatch, I clean, I've just started to jerk again, but those movements are in there. There's a heavy dose of jumping. My plyos has been kind of with my kids, like during my workouts, so I kind of have a cheat code with that, but I'm going to put those in for stuff that you can do. But it's basic. It's just structured, and it makes sense. The strength stuff is very, very simple. The strength stuff is squatting, lunging, deadlifting, all of the dumbbell stuff. If you need to, I give variations for it. I give you ways to regress it or progress it if you're more advanced than me, or if you're more of a beginner. It doesn't matter. at the end of the day, the split is pretty simple where there's a lower body day, there's an upper body day, there's a sprint plyo day, or there's like a conditioning cardio type day. And I don't miss days. That doesn't make me cool. You can miss all the days that you want. I just personally, I need to work out, or my communication is not as good. I'm just more irritable. Like, I need to work out and I need to learn something before my day begins. And now having two kids, I don't have a choice. Like, for example, last night I was in bed at 8 o'clock. I was at the gym at 4:50. I felt horrible, but I got it in, and I just hit a second lift right now. I finished the workout for the day, and I feel good. Like, I blew my back out on, I don't know, yeah, Tuesday. Blew my back out. I only had about 4 hours of sleep. I got thrown up on by my daughter. We were showering at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm like, I'm going to the gym. I don't care. Tried to do the workout. Idiot. Blew my back out. And it took me till today to even feel remotely close. But I'm like, you know what? This is what happens when you train every day. You kind of can figure it out and get right back into it. And so now I feel pretty good. I feel like tomorrow I can go back in and get back to where I'm at. But no clue where I'm going with all of that talk. I go off on tangents. This is why I like having someone to ask questions, so I don't need to talk. But the point of that is I'm going to be giving out my workouts. If you're interested, let me know. We're probably going to drop it after Labor Day. In college, we're also going to be dropping college workouts too that you can get remotely. So a lot of cool stuff. The time of remote training is real. And now that I have kind of settled in here, I have the time to video and make it realistic to, it's not just a blanket program. It's a general program that athletes can be following, and it gives you a ton of variability to change it for your season, your sport, wherever, your training environment, whatever it is. I just wanted to finish with, none of these people know who I am, and nor do they, care to get shouted out, but some people that I've really been all on the last, I don't know, longer than a year for most of these guys, but recently, like this week alone, Will Rattel, if you're not following his stuff right now, you should. He talks the talk. He walks the walk. He was in the NFL. He's a Division I college strength coach. He showcases everything that he does. He has a reason for everything that he does. I listen to him every single morning when I'm going to the gym. I'll actually watch his videos on YouTube, which I think are super cool. He actually does his workout, and he's mic'd up. And I apologize, Will. I think I might steal some of this style, although Will is about 10 billion times stronger than me. It's just so cool because it's just like you get to such an authentic feel. He's just straight to the point, and really watching him for the last like 2 or 3 months, he's the reason I got back into Olympic weightlifting for myself. I always loved it. I've gone back and forth, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I get caught up in the mess of like, oh, should we Olympic weightlifter or not? Don't take it from me. Go listen to him. He's way more educated than so many strength coaches, way more educated than me. And I think you would really like his channel, and you should listen to what he has to say because he's super knowledgeable. And he gets to the point. It's simple. And when you watch him move weight, you're like, duh, right? He did it. It's not like he's just some guy who was strong. Okay. He had a chance to be he was in the NFL. He had a couple chances from what his story says. So, the Coach 'em Up podcast is, well, it's a tied second to my Voodoo Power, Stephen Thompson. Both those podcasts right now, I basically just alternate. I can't wait for Fridays when Voodoo Power with Stephen Thompson comes out. You need to be on his podcast. Like, you need to be listening to, he's bringing on the best of the best, and he has been forever. And every Friday he drops it. So please be listening to him. A newer one is the Coach 'em Up podcast with Tim Riley and Zach. He's a strength coach at Texas for women's basketball. Their podcast is absurdly good. Absurdly good. I literally get like excited when they drop a new podcast, and I finish it that day. I swear it's the knowledge is unbelievable. Just listening to Tim and Zach talk, they're just so authentic and they're so good at what they do. Like if you're a coach, you don't have to just be a strength coach. Go listen to them. Oh my gosh, it's free. It's unbelievable. It's funny. It's informative. It's phenomenal. They just had on Jordan Shallow, which, again, most of the people on here, if you're listening, hopefully you're a coach or a strength coach, but just an absolute genius. And I've listened to him on all kinds of podcasts. I'm really considering starting his Prescript course now. But just another name and a shout out for people that you should be following. If you don't really know, like, hey, where should I go learn? Especially like younger strength coaches, or even if you're an athlete or if you're a sport coach, go listen to these guys. It's free. It's free. And I think, sometimes as strength coaches, right, like we get so frustrated when sport coaches don't listen to us because we think we're so smart. Go listen to the people that do it every day. And I think it'll kind of give you a broader view of the whole thing of it's not just the sport, it's not just the strength and conditioning, it's not just the PT, it's all of it combined. And these guys do a great job of always talking about that. My last shout out of people to listen to is Dan Foley from Rude Rock. This week when I blew my back out, I don't know why I actually heard him on, I believe I was on the Coach Him Up podcast and another podcast, but he was talking about something to do with injuries. And I was like, man, I haven't been on his YouTube in a while. And I hop on immediately. I found two of his circuits, his fascia circuits, which if you don't know anything about it, he's the guy. Go listen now. Like go listen, go watch. It's not voodoo. Just a phenomenal YouTube page as well, just like Will Rattel's. And I'm not gonna lie, I took it easy in terms of putting the bar on my back this week, but I was following his stuff to a T, and I got a little routine by the end of the week, and I feel really good. Even my brain felt really good after doing it this week. So there's another guy. So you got Will Rattel, you got the Coach Him Up podcast, you got Dan Foley, you got Stephen Thompson with Voodoo Power, and you got Jordan Shallow from Prescript. Go learn, everybody. I don't have much more for today. Kind of a rant type podcast today. Next week we're going to have on hopefully a couple people. We're going to have on one of my best friends, and I guess we were co-workers. I hate that term, but we trained together. We trained together. We trained athletes together at Athletes Warehouse, but we also trained together. We were training partners for a bit. We keep in touch. We still try to see each other when we can. We're always on the phone. And then a potential former professional women's lacrosse player who was, one of my favorites, still is one of my favorites. I don't get to train her anymore, but we stay in touch. She potentially will be on, and maybe one more athlete before these college guys start going back. So hopefully you're getting something out of the podcast. And if you think that this was of any value, let me know. I'll continue doing these when I don't have anybody for the week. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.